To start, I'm going to open up my variant meshes folder, and immediately what I have differs from what CA uses in the base game and what I've seen a lot of modders use. When I was learning to use .WSmodel files, I was left with a lot of errors, and it became so bad I had to strip down my file structure to such a degree that it was nothing. It was an art, a variant mesh definitions, and an XML folder with a material folder inside. And while it looks like just a big dump bin full of stuff, because it is, what it ends up doing is it solves file path issues, because file path issues will seriously bite you repeatedly when you're trying to set up these WSmodel files, because you're linking, to specific material files. Then your material files are linking to specific .dds files, and you're also in the .WSmodel files. You're calling on rigid models as well, and then you have your variant mesh definitions, which are referencing WSmodel files. So you have just these layers of potential mistakes you can make. You miss one letter in XML, and all of a sudden that variant or that WSmodel for the head of that variant ain't showing up. It's like, oh shoot! Now you got to look through everything to figure out where that is. Is it a material issue? Is it in my variant mesh definition? And this simplified file structure that I use, at least personally, solves a lot of those issues for me. I helped somebody debug what they were working with, and I broke down their file structure to this when I was debugging it, and it really helped finding the issue there that they were having with a broken link in their .WSmodel files. So even if you don't use this, it's something to maybe keep in mind, even if just for debugging purposes. Okay, so in total, I use 4 folders, one of them nested. I put my rigid models and my diffuses in the art folder, and they actually organize themselves pretty well. Each one of them sort of going into a proper order. If you have a good naming scheme, you almost don't need folders. This section right here is the demonette chest section. I don't need to worry about having to link another folder deep. I can see it because it starts with a rigid model file and then it goes to the next one. Again, this may not be the best solution for everybody, but it's something to experiment with yourself if you're having trouble with constantly breaking links or file paths. So I use there's the art folder with the rigid models and .dds's. Then I have the XML with the WS models in one and the materials in another, just to keep them separate because they do look the same. And then I have my variant mesh definitions, which I only currently have 1 unit in this pack file, so there's only 1 unit there. So to start, what we have is we're going to be adding another piece to a specific head for a demonette, which is going to be a pain, and I don't quite know how to do it, or at least maybe not correctly. I've heard tell of nested variants, but I've never been able to find any information on them. So what I think I'm going to do is I've got one with hair currently that I'm planning on removing because the hair looks crap. I've got one bald one, and I think another one that's bald. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add it to my variant mesh definitions as a probability item. So essentially, when it checks, when the game tries to build each individual model, it references this file and picks the parts at random. And probability says that even if it does pick this part, it has a chance not to pick this part anyway. So I'm going to pause the recording real quick and go look up how to do that.